Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out Near Protocol's price chart, and the focus of today's video is not really on the short-term price action. In today's update, I'm going to check out the midterm structures and tell you what are the possible scenarios and why am I still optimistic in Near. So overall, in the mid to long term, I still fully believe this structure on the upside, starting from the lowest low about 58 cents to about this point about $21, is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure. This for me is pretty much a no-brainer. Also, followed by this impulse up, I still fully believe this is an A, B, C in form of a zigzag down. The subways for it, I'll be honest, are way too clear. Now, from this point moving forward, the picture does get a bit complicated and we can consider different possibilities, and this is the topic of today's video. One scenario suggests that this whole move on the upside, starting from here to about this point, is actually an impulsive structure, and if this is the case, well, okay, we can argue maybe this is a wave 1 correction for wave 2, and then we're going to get big move up into wave 3, 4, 5. Let's actually bring the colors back so you can see the lines a bit better. Excuse me, there we go. And at that point, on a higher degree, this white 5 wave up is actually going to be into a wave 3 by itself. There we go. And then we're going to get correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. Now, if this scenario is happening, I think we can expect this 5 up into our wave 3 to happen in this cycle. This is probably going to be the next bear market, and this is actually for the next bull run coming in the next few years. So if you believe this is in play, you need to count on just this phase of our impulse to happen in this cycle. Now, can we have other possibilities? Yes. And from here, the scenarios do get kind of bearish. And I say kind of because not all of them suggest that we're going to go down in here. For example, let's just go around this area. Okay, you see, we can consider also the possibility of having from the highest high an A, B, C, D, E, which in terms of Elliott waves, we call it a triangle. And for the subwaves, you probably know what I'm about to say if you are a regular viewer of the main channel. Let's change the colors to maybe white and also bring the lines. There we go. We need to be able to find ABCs into every single wave. There we go. ABC up into B, followed by that ABC down into C, ABC up into our wave D. And this is our final ABC on the downside into our E leg. And in order for us to see the structures a bit better, I think we need to go on a less busy chart, maybe from crypto.com. Sorry about that. Okay. There we go. So I think we can all agree that this move on the downside from here to about this point is an ABC. Now let's say it's going to be into an A leg, followed by that. This can definitely be an ABC on the upside into wave B. And I guess you are somehow able to find an ABC structure down with a wedge structure into our B leg, into our wave C, and then correction for wave D, another move down into our E leg. And then from this point, we're going to get another move on the upside. Now, what's the difference between this possibility and the previous scenario suggesting we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You see, into a wave 2, we usually, in most cases, do not have a triangle structure. And if you want to 100% follow the rules, then okay, a triangle is basically not allowed into our wave 2. That's why I'm going to say, according to this scenario, this is actually 5 wave up still, into this time an A leg, triangle into wave B, and then we're gonna have another move up into wave C. And here is the difference. If this is happening in near, we can expect, instead of a huge move up from here soon, maybe some more chopping around and then a rather sharp phase of the bull run, and right in here it will be over. We are going to enter probably a massive bear market, who knows, maybe even in order to take the low of our B leg. That is possible. So this is another possibility. Can we have another scenario suggesting maybe in near from here we're going to get a move down and take the lowest low down here? You see, the answer is yes, and it does kind of come down to this move on the upside. Why is that? If you want to say we're going to have our final low, for example, right around this area, let's say this is like a very important support, then okay, off of the lowest low, you need to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure on the upside. And based on it, let's go on the live chart. Okay, so you see, in Near protocol, I think there is a chance that this is 5 wave up to about this point, this is WXY down, and another 5 wave on the upside. And well, if this is the case, instead of a complete impulse, we are having in here an A, B, C zigzag. Now, do not get me wrong. This scenario still suggests that we are bullish, and this is 5 wave down, this is correction down, and on a higher degree, we can have a 1, 2, but the end of our wave 2 in this case is not actually going to be in here. Instead, it's going to be right around here, suggesting in here from this point, we're going to get a very strong move down in order to take the lowest low down here about, let's say, like $1, and then that will be it, our final low, and we're going to start a massive bull run into wave 3 and 4 and 5. This scenario is also possible. Now, so far we considered 3 different possibilities, and this is the common point between all of them. They all suggest that in near we are going to, in this cycle, participate in a beautiful altcoin season if we are going to have it. However, 2 of them suggest from these areas we can get our move up. The other one suggests from this point we're actually going to get a move down in order to take the lowest low. Question is, how can we say whether this or the previous 2 scenarios is going to be in play? Well, here's the thing. We cannot say anything for sure, and there is no certainty in any market. We are only talking about the possibilities, but I think you can actually get help from classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances. And we talked about this subject so many times in Near protocol. You see, right in here, between, let's say, 1.8 to about the $2 area, we are having a very clear gap which was created in weekly time frame as a result of this move on the upside happening a bit too fast. And around these areas in my main channel, if you remember, I was calling for a move down in near because I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. However, it's not all the story. You see, at the same time, in weekly chart and also I would say daily time frame, this is also a very strong support area, and it's unbelievably important. Why is that? Because under here in Near protocol, I really cannot identify a whole lot of strong supports. So I'm gonna say, as long as in Near we are not getting a break of this level, meaning in weekly time frame, we're not seeing a move down, a candle close under here, and then pull back and a continuation of the move down, I think we can consider the 2 possibilities suggesting from this point, we're going to get a very strong bounce back, and then either from here, we're going to get a move up, or maybe we're going to do some chopping around and then another move on the upside. Nonetheless, both of those scenarios suggest that this point is actually our final low in near. However, if we get a break of this level, well, okay, at that point, I'm going to unfortunately consider the 3rd possibility, indicating from here about, let's say, like $1.7, we're going to have probably a 50 to potentially even 60% move down in order to take the lowest low down here for the first target, about, let's say, like 95 cents to $1. But I think we can actually at that point go a bit more down than that, maybe somewhere around 70 to even 80 cents. So let's have a quick conclusion and wrap up today's update. In Near protocol, overall, do not get me wrong, I am still absolutely bullish, but whether in the next month or 2 we're gonna hit our final low in here, or maybe we're gonna go lower, it all, from my point of view at least, depends on this unbelievably important support. Get a break of it, our move down is going to continue. Get a very strong bounce back of it, and if I see the right structures, well, okay, fair enough, this point is going to be our final low, and the more bullish possibilities in here are going to be in play. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Near protocol. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.